Buenos días con todos los asistentes. Esperamos que se encuentren muy bien y agradecemos su participación en la conferencia magistral del día de hoy. Estaremos presentando MDM e IoT, la fórmula para una gestión inteligente de datos de medición en el Perú, a cargo de Horst Toddenrott y Director of Sales and Business Development at Cuculus GmbH, and Reza Tabrizi, Senior Sales Manager at Cuculus GmbH. Les contaré un poquito de cada uno para que sepan quiénes son nuestros ponentes el día de hoy y su desarrollo en la empresa Cuculus. Horst Toddenrott tiene más de 30 años de experiencia en el campo del desarrollo comercial, el desarrollo de productos y las ventas. Comenzó su trabajo para Cuculus en 2010 y se centró en el desarrollo de ventas y marketing de Sonos en Europa. Desde el 2018 es responsable de la unidad de negocio Energy Radar y del desarrollo e introducción del producto a diferentes mercados del mundo. Horst tiene una graduación académica con un título en informática de la Universidad de Ciencias Aplicadas de Mannheim. Next, Reza Tabrizi. Reza tiene más de 2 décadas de experiencia global en transmisión, distribución y utilización de electricidad. La estrecha cooperación con muchas empresas eléctricas en diferentes países y continentes lo ayudó a obtener una visión valiosa de los principales desafíos, puntos débiles y KPIs de la industria de distribución eléctrica. Reza es ingeniero eléctrico y también tiene un MBA en gestión estratégica. Y bueno, los pueden ver en pantalla con nosotros. Hi Reza, hi Horst, welcome to the webinar.
Yeah, thank you for the invitation.
Thank you very much.
Finalmente, les comparto un detalle importante para la presentación. Si surge alguna pregunta, la pueden realizar en el chat o en preguntas y respuestas y al final de la presentación el expositor las estará respondiendo. Muchas gracias por su atención y te doy el pase, Reza. You can start. Thank you.
Good morning, dear audiences from Peru. My name is Reza Tabrizi. I am member of the international sales team of Cuculus GmbH. We are a technology provider from Germany. We offer innovative IoT solution for the critical infrastructures of the utilities, including smart metering, smart cities, and beyond. I would like to express my cordial thanks to our regional partners, Ready, for organizing this webinar. Today, I am going to give an introduction to the universal MDM system, and which you in Latin America you call it as a MDM. This online session aims to address some typical challenges resulted by non-interoperable and non-universal systems. I will review some of the applicable scenarios to resolve those challenges, and my presentation will be followed by my colleague, Mr. Toddenrott, to introduce the energy radar. So, finish the slide. Yeah. My presentation includes a very brief introduction to Cuculus GmbH, followed by the typical KPIs of the utilities and potentials and promises of an AMI system. Then we will discuss why choosing a universal and interoperable MDM is important. Then we will talk about capabilities of Sonos IoT platform of Cuculus to assure the interoperability and provide a universal solutions to integrate the end-to-end infrastructures of the utilities in a very professional manner. We all know about the scarcity of the world's precious resources, and in Cuculus, we are dedicated to help utilities in mitigating energy losses to preserve those valuable resources. This will assist utilities to improve their revenue, to be sustainable for sure, which is very much important, and at the same time support the environment by mitigating the CO2 footprint. And eventually it helps the people to get a benefit from adjusted and reasonable tariff. That's why our vision is to provide affordable energy and water for everyone. In Cuculus, we speak 38 different languages because we are a multicultural and multinational enterprise with employees originated from 21 different countries. We have over 100 specialists in Cuculus, only specialists are 100. We have 5 offices and 4 sales representations worldwide. On top of that, we have a huge partner network across the globe. The smart metering and smart grid is a global movement. We know that. Moreover, this stage is very much critical and a significant milestone for all utilities to set the foundation in a proper way and to make sure that several factors, including interoperability, scalability, reliability, and information security, is met properly. On top of that, every market has its own regulations and requirements. So in Cuculus, we are pleased to offer customized services and solutions with full functionalities in a way to comply with the specific needs of different regions and different markets. As I explained previously, we have a strong partner network worldwide. This network is rapidly expanding. Today, we are pleased to serve you with the help of our local partner in Peru, Horst. We are member of different associations related to our industry, including DLMS, STS Association, Visan Alliance, European Association of Smart Energy Solution Providers, and so on. As previously explained, digitalization of the utility is an emerging phenomenon. So every utility has its own requirements and preferences based on the market, and we need to focus on the solutions. That's why our solutions are built upon the need of the customers. We are developing a state-of-art solution that achieve results. That is the key, because we offer a solution to meet the requirement of the utilities in a fully integrated and universal manner, something that was impossible in many cases before. But our innovative IoT platform and range of super useful APIs make it possible. This section aims to talk about the utilities KPIs and whatever promises and potentials of the AMI supposed to be. We can see the list of typical KPIs, the more or less common among the utilities across the globe, especially in some countries that they have strict energy regulators that follow the achievement of every KPI in a very complicated manner. So achieving those KPIs are really important. One of them is to minimize the commercial and collection losses based on the traditional way of conventional metering, or even in some cases there are non-meter customers. So there are a lot of wastages in different way of tampering, fraud, erosion, human reading, and so on. Also, another KPI is to help in minimizing, is to achieve the minimizing SAIFI and SAIDI, the frequency and the duration of the outage, 2 important outage indexes. And then bring the tariff in a logical level, for sure, generate revenue and save for the future investment, future plans. to provide a clear picture of the demand, the load profile, and so on, manage the hybrid DERs, and then minimize the level of capital and operational expenditures and bring them in a optimized level. And then in this picture, we can see those potential and promises of AMI system in order to achieve those KPIs. Beside those functionalities and applicable use cases, the AMI come into the picture and promise to resolve those problems and help the utilities to achieve the KPIs. But in practice, many of the AMI projects fail to meet the initial expectations and promises. And the problem of non-interoperability is one of the major reasons of the failure in the AMI projects. So this section aims to review the importance of the interoperability and why we need an interoperable and universal system. I try to address some of the typical challenges and problems happen due to the non-interoperability. We can see, for example, the limited access to the data because non-interoperable system may not allow easy sharing and aggregation of the data across multiple systems. Unfortunately, with a non-interoperable system, there is a chance of vendor lock-in, which is not something pleasant. It's something that utilities doesn't like it, but in many cases, they are locked into the technology. So the innovation and competition of in the future projects fail just because of this lock-in. For sure, there is a challenge in integration because when the system is not interoperable, there is no chance to integrate with a variety of the devices in future. Excuse me. Yeah, in the future. Also, there is a problem of the flexibility because when there is a need for adapting the new changes of the business, the non-interoperable system cannot meet the new regulation, the new customer demands, and technological advancement. The cost will be increased in the non-interoperable system because there is a need for additional hardware, software, and development efforts, plus operation and maintenance. The system will be the combination of different discrete and non-integrated system is inefficient for sure, because the sharing of the data, collection process, and everything comes with a delay, and also the systems are not connected together. The system is not for sure scalable because it doesn't allow the new device, and the cyber security risk will be increased since the systems are installed across the different service territories. So for each of them, there is a threat. So consider that there are a variety of the systems independent to each others. And now in this section, we are going to review what we are offering in Zonos as an interoperable and universal IoT platform. This slide aims to vividly illustrate the overall picture of Zonos, which in the core includes MDC and MDM. In both southbound and northbound side, we provide very useful APIs that facilitate integration into a variety of devices regardless of supplier, communication technology, and a protocol. Also, this helps to integrate with the backend systems and the legacies. That's why we say pick what you need. There are lots of different applicable scenarios in this system, in this simple picture. And at the end of this presentation, I am going to review some of those applicable scenarios, just as the time allow me. Zonos platform is a multi-vendor and multi-utility solution that allows connectivity to a variety of smart meters, smart components such as electrical, water, and gas and heat meters with the different vendors. So we have no concern about supporting different communication technologies and protocols. So the system is flexible. Also, the system is very much scalable because with the modern and modular design, our solution is highly scalable that support connectivity to millions of devices to collect and manage billions of data. The performance is another key. Zonos platform has the ultra high speed core, which is built for the fast data collection and processing with the capability of processing over 1.2 million messages per second. We can see that in many projects, several vendors argue about the footprint and the success stories in connectivity to millions of meters. But in fact, we know that this is not the only indication to prove the performance of the system. The capability of the system to capture big data in the short intervals and analyze the data to deliver the meaningful result to the utilities is very much important. With Zonos platform and useful APIs, having a fully integrated infrastructure with full connectivity is easier than ever. The system is supporting the multi-utility concepts because there is no barrier to connectivity to the electrical meter, water meter, or gas meter, or heat meter. The system allows the concept of multi-vendor because it's totally open, accept variety of communication technologies and communication protocols that I try to address some of them, and also helps the connection to different third-party systems. This slide is the pictorial illustration of the explanation in the previous slide. Zonos IoT platform and the submodules are in the center. We can see the connectivity to the devices from one side and possibility to connect to the variety of systems in another side. This fully support end-to-end connectivity, something which is totally missed in many AMI projects worldwide due to the lack of interoperability and capability to put the pieces of puzzle together. Our system is already connected to more than 200 devices from different vendors. The detailed list can be handed over to the local utilities through process ready upon request. And here is my final section of presentation. I try to refer to some of the applicable scenarios just as an example. But I believe that this part would be the most interesting part of the presentation because you can see some animations and in the real cases, which probably some of you already have some problems, you can see the solutions. Okay, again, we're back to the simple slide, which contains a lot of meanings. And then in the next slide, I try to show you what is meaning of pick what you need. Okay. This scenario is the most often case. We can see that utility deployed several different MDC. Each system is totally non-interoperable. The package is fully discrete and works in form of isolated systems that are totally independent. So considering the problems that I mentioned before, the challenges of non-interoperability, utility prefers, this is the preference of the utility. Utility prefers to eliminate those systems and replace it with the universal and interoperable one. And here is the solution. Zonos MDC comes into the picture, integrate with some of the meter under, for example, MDCX, and then eliminate it if required by the utility. If not, then this is another scenario. Then integrate with another type of meters and then eliminate the system which is not required by the utility anymore due to the huge operation and maintenance cost, and also lack of proper services as expected by the utility. Then integrate with another one and eliminate it. So this is totally universal and interoperable system. Another scenario is that the systems are more or less, some of them interoperable, some of them not, but the utility prefers to keep them due to some considerations. Instead of eliminating those MDC, the utility prefers to fill the gap and deploy the MDM. And with the MDM get several extra functionalities, which is totally higher level, and at the same time connect the data from segregated MDCs. We can see that Zonos MDM come to the picture and connect to the different MDCs. Another scenario is that utility wants to deploy new type of the new MDC which have the capability to connect with variety type of meters. We have in this picture, just as an example, we have electricity meter, water meter, and gas meter. Imagine that everyone have a different types with a different communication technology and protocols. And due to the lesson learned that utility has from previous project, doesn't want to give this connectivity to other suppliers because doesn't want to repeat the challenge of before. So the aim is to collect, to supply, to purchase a new MDC, at the same time have the MDM for the connectivity to the variety of MDCs. So Zonos has an MDM come into the picture, connect to the meters, at the same time connect to the existing MDCs. And another scenario is that there are existing systems, different type of system legacies, and there are some plan for future to acquire the new backend system, a new, for example, SCADA, IDMS, whatever. And also there are different meters, either water, electricity, or gas, and utility wants to have a combination of HES and MDM, not only to provide the end-to-end connectivity, but also to save the money, because we know that one-time deployment of HES and MDM together, if a supplier can provide it, will save a lot of cost for the utility. And this is one of the core competencies of Cuculus, that we can provide a combination of HES and MDM with full functionalities, and then connect to the devices through the southbound and to the systems through the northbound. Thank you very much for your valuable time and attention to my presentation. Now I will leave the session to my colleague, Mr. Toddenrott, and he will continue with the presentation of energy radar.
I need to switch on. Good morning, everyone. I'm very happy that I have today the chance to present this, and many thanks to the team who has organized that in Peru, to our partner. And today I will definitely talk a little bit about, let's say, future aspects of the energy market and of a solution to introduce new services and meaningful services to customers and as well to utilities. So Reza already mentioned that we want to make sure that everyone has enough energy and water. And my solution, which I have developed in the last 3 years together with a team in the back, is definitely going beyond the 15 minutes value we are going from, or we're having from the smart meter. Let me just quickly go through the agenda. Let's click this on. I have as well different ones. So I want to introduce you the energy radar service management. I will talk a little bit about business solutions for the utilities and service offerings on top of that for consumers. And at the end of the day, I think Reza and myself will be happy to answer your questions. And I know that the team has prepared that we can answer your most interesting questions. So let's go to the next point. Let me see. So what is the energy radar solution? The energy solution is a solution which reads real-time data from the smart meter. When you look at the meter data management and the meter and the head-end systems, they mainly collect 15 minutes values, sometimes once a day, not really in real time. But when we think in the future of having analytics on top of that, of the energy data, providing new services like load balancing and so on and so forth, these 15 minutes values will never be able to fulfill these requirements. So actually the solution provides a very deep insights into also the grid behavior. I can show you that later on. So let me see, next one. So to optimize the energy usage once as well in the grid, as well at the consumer side, there must be many steps taken, right? It starts with the collection of the real-time data to get the needed information, but what to do at the end of the day with this data? So you have to have some analytics functions behind that. And one of the analytics functions we already have integrated is some kind of disaggregation, but we will go beyond that in terms of the tariff management, predictive maintenance, and all these new services which might come across. So what we want to achieve at the end of the day, when we have this data available, many of different applications will use these data to provide meaningful services, for the energy supplier, but also for the consumer. He gives it a real insight, more or less on real time, into his consumption, into different appliances, and so on and so forth. So I will come that in a minute. So who collects the data from the real time, right? You know, the meter is normally sending via power line communication or LTE or something once a day, 15 minutes values. But we have developed as well as a back end and as well some hardware components which collects these data. So the first one we have developed was the meter extension number one. The meter extension number one, and you can see it on the picture, has a little bit of cable on it because a lot of meters, especially in Germany, have a local port. Often they call it a HAN port or P1 port with different physical features and capabilities. But we have also developed the solution to acquire data, real-time data from the optical port of the smart meter. And I think until end of the year, we will have a solution to work with anal meter as well, because the anal meter have a power line connection internally and as well externally. So we will have a solution for that as well to acquire more or less real-time data also from this meter. So I think we have a complete portfolio to get to the data. That is the first point we have. If we want to provide new services, we have to have this data available in a cloud-based solution. So let me see. What to do with this data? I've mentioned a couple of times some of the possible applications. The picture here shows you exactly what the solution is, right? We have in the cloud a backend solution which collects the data from these little sensors. And by the way, these sensors can also be installed by the end customer because it's very simple. Plug it in, have an app, and so on and so forth. So really to be on top of technology as well. And this is here written as well. We could also connect to the MDM system to provide further integration. What also we have attached here is some kind of an app where the end user, the consumer, can really see this real-time data based on the data provided by the smart meter, the real-time data provided by the smart meter. But as well, we are connecting here more and more third-party applications. As mentioned, one is disaggregation. Another one could also be flexible tariffs and so on and so forth. So there are many things which you can think about, PV stations to connect to the system, but as well batteries or what you can think of. So this is very open, and this is exactly the concept we are following. We don't want to lock into specific silos. So let me see. I need to go to the next slide. So as already mentioned, it is an open and scalable solution. That's very, very important. No one of us, also we are very deep in the energy market and in providing energy. We do not know what will be in 1, 2, 3 years. Look at ChatGPT. It comes up, there is a new hype, and you have to be flexible to integrate third-party applications, AI applications, whatever you can think of in the future. But what they will all need the data. And you can say the energy rate service management is the data distribution platform for energy data in the future. So as said, based on innovative solution, open and scalable, I have already mentioned that. What we are providing also is a well-defined API so that third-party applications can hook on this platform. Of course, the customer has to give his consent for that. And maybe in the future, the customer has to do some payment for that as well, for the special service. So all this is being implemented or let's say provided by this application, by this solution. And we know that in different countries, we are facing with different regulatories. So you can have that as a software as a service, or we can deploy it also on premise. So that is not a showstopper here for that solution. So we can do that, but it's a question of the business case at the end of the day. So let me see the next one. So when you look, what can I do with it, right? What is the use cases for it? Where is the business case at the end of the day? Because to have a nice technical solution is one side of the coin, but the other side is how to make money with it. So what you can do with these is very, very efficient to do some grid optimization. Also, you can do sub-segment monitoring. Just put a meter in with the transformer in front, put in the meter extension, and you get all the real-time data from the substation. We can detect unexpected grid behavior. You can do forecast optimization and reduction of cost of energy and new digital services, not based on the 15 minutes value, but on real-time data. And for the consumer, of course, he can monitor his energy consumption. He has a budget control. You can set alarms for him. And as well as already mentioned, you can do some kind of disaggregation of appliances and provide some meaningful predictive maintenance services to him. Hey, saying to customers, hey, your air conditioner, for instance, is running above the, let's say, normal operation mode. So please have a look. Maybe your filter is not okay, or the compressor is stiff, has an issue. Do something and reduce the cost of your air conditioner. So that is one of the things behind it. You see? So, oops. So as well, So two sides of the coin. Okay, was a little bit irritated. Two sides of the coins. Real-time monitoring of the substation. I already mentioned that AI-based analytics on grid behavior, less power consumptions and outages, and so on and so forth, which could really help to optimize that. And when you now look at this picture, these are some real-time data from a smart meter installed in Austria. And you can see the green light here is the customer is consuming energy, but here is producing energy when it comes to the yellow light. So, and at this point, you can see how the grid is behavior in terms of the voltage of the three phases. So this is a very, very detailed insight at a very, very low price for grid operators, and as well based on that, of course, for customers. Let me switch through it. Monitoring, budget control, consumer advisory. I have already talked about that. And when you look at the picture, this is how it looks like. And I can also give you a little bit of an insight how it looks. Let me see. Sometimes it's a little bit different to deal with many screens. So what you see here in the middle is definitely some real-time data from a location in Germany. And the concept behind the energy radar is definitely something which we call, and this is what I would like to talk about in the next couple of slides as well, is about a concept which we call a marketplace. So as said in the beginning, the customers do not, or we as a provider of services to consumers and to other customers, we do not know what will happen in the future, right? And therefore, it's important to have in such a solution something like a marketplace. You can call it also, name it the application for energy data, or the iTunes or the Google App Store for energy applications. And what I want to show you is one of the features. You can see that here, that is the marketplace. Here I have some services which I have not registered yet, but here I can have the electricity map, which means you can see what's going on in the grid worldwide. But what I want to show you is definitely the disaggregation, right? And here you can see at that day, let me see, this was today. The air condition was running, the refrigerator was the refrigerator was running, the dishwasher, the wash machine, the water heater, and the lights. And when I switch on to euro, you can see what it costs you. This was very high because it was some test data. But as well, when I click on the other side, you can see that's totally different, right? The air condition was running, and so you can see really what's going on in my network and what was the most of the appliances used. So let's go back to the slides. So this is just what I have shown you actually, right? This was the marketplace. This was the different applications we have integrated. This is what you can use, what you can offer to customers. And if you have other applications you want to add to the platform at which we use all these data and provide meaningful services either to the grid operator or to the customers, here is the solution for you. So, but at the end of the day, we want to make some business with them, right? And therefore, it is very important that we offer meaningful services for the customers, right? We all know just to know that the consumption today was very high is not really what the customer would make happy at the end of the day. But integration into home energy management systems could be one of the things. Analytics like disaggregation could be a very meaningful services, because when the customer registers, for instance, for half a year, and then he says, okay, I know this of my applications, of my appliances consuming too much of energy, and he's paying for this 6 months. That would be also something which was valuable. What is also in Europe very attractive is to combine these information with the solar production, with the PV stations, right? To know what have I consumed internally and what has I sold to the public, and so on and so forth. And as well, in the future, we will see a lot of changes in terms of flexible tariffs. So for the customer, it would mean I need to know what would be the expected price by tomorrow or the day after, right? So then I can shift maybe the PV charging, or I know when I have to use my solar production because of the high prices from the grid, and so on and so forth. So all these things, as well as outage warnings, I've forgotten that. All these things needs real-time data. Just 15 minutes a day later or 24 hours later is not really sufficient to provide such services. So let me see. Yeah, as this is just an example for Europe, right, where the prices have increased. You see in 2012, we have 26 cents per kilowatt hours. Meanwhile, by 37 or more, my own provider has will charge me at 55 cents per kilowatt hours, euro cents. So the energy data service management, and this is, I think, a very important message here, is to enable consumers to optimize their energy cost. Very important all over the world at the moment. And the monitoring for such important things, right, I just switched it over, is done in more of real time. The data from these little sensors, from these cheap sensors, are coming every 10 seconds to the platform. We can go down maybe to 1 second or something like that. It's a question of the business case at the end of the day. But he gets a real insight. He knows exactly, oh, yesterday I was too much over my budget. I have to take care in the next couple of days that in total I will keep into my budget, and so on and so forth. So this is very, very important. And a lot of research around the world have shown that the savings which could be achieved with such a solution is round about by 30% for the consumers. You might say, okay, 30% means for the grid operator 30% less revenue. That's true. But at the end of the day, the CO2 has to come down, so everyone has to do something to optimize his energy usage, and therefore this would also be a helpful tool to do so. Oops, sorry. This is just a summary of what I have already shown to you in real time, right? This is, again, the disaggregation stuff, and it shows exactly where the money is and what of our appliances have consumed too much of energy. And the second one, this one, is the next step to say, okay, have a look at your fridge, have a look at your lights, have a look at your water heater. In terms of your comparison with the standard behavior, they are consuming too much. Let me just summarize the benefits for the customers, right? So as said, it monitors in real-time data his costs. He has a budget control for the energy bill. He can easily install it in 3 steps because he just plugs it in. He gets an app, he downloads the app. The app guides him through the installation process, and it enables him savings of up to 30%. And when you take that in account, then you can also create a business case saying, hey, I provide you this service at, I don't know, a couple of cents per month or per day, and then you are done. So I'm also pretty much through my presentation. I hope I was not too quick. And I would give back the presentation to Lucia and say thank you very much for your attention and looking forward to your questions.
Les agradecemos mucho tanto a Reza como Horst por esta ponencia. En este caso, por favor, si tuvieran alguna consulta, alguna pregunta adicional respecto a lo expuesto, por favor, tenemos un chat de preguntas y respuestas en la parte superior de la pantalla, al cual pueden acceder y colocar sus consultas. Esta reunión también nos encontramos con Jenny Cárdenas, parte del equipo de Cuculus, quien les va a estar traduciendo las preguntas que se vayan realizando. Jenny, tenemos una pregunta que me gustaría les puedas realizar a Reza y Horst. En este caso, ¿se puede integrar al SCADA? Me preguntan. ¿Cómo es esa integración?
Sí, te escucho, Lucía. Muchas gracias y buenos días a todos en Perú. La pregunta de momento, Reza, the question, Reza, for you, it's about the integration from the Sonos MDM system with SCADA. You can answer and then I will translate to Spanish.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for the question. As I tried to explain before, we have different type of useful APIs. It can be done through the northbound integration, and then we need to note different use cases, and then we define the connectivity through a project, and yes, it can be done. This is through the APIs, northbound API, we can do it. We have also different type of APIs, just maybe not applicable in this case, but for example, for the reporting purpose, we can use the streaming APIs, as you know. Thank you.
Thanks. Las integraciones, el sistema de Sonos es un sistema flexible por medio del cual podemos hacer diferentes integraciones mediante las APIs. Dentro del sistema tenemos diferentes APIs, como lo mencionaba Reza al inicio. Tenemos las APIs del norte, o Northbound APIs. Tenemos también la API de el streaming, la que permite la consecución de eventos y alarmas más en una rapidez mayor. Y también tenemos la API del sur.
Muy bien, la siguiente pregunta es, ¿qué países hay desarrollando aplicaciones donde se integren en una sola plataforma electricidad, gas natural y agua? ¿Y qué resultados han tenido?
Perfecto. The question goes to the references or the previous projects where we are integrating gas, water, and electricity in the same project.
Yeah, then please refer to the project. Yes, you know it very well. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. No, Cuculus tenemos en los 15 años de la empresa, hemos desarrollado diferentes proyectos en Europa, en Oriente Medio y en Asia e India. Previos proyectos, la plataforma Sonos es una plataforma multiservicio, multivendor, multiproveedor. Podemos conectar diferentes tipos de medidores y todos pueden ser conectados en una única plataforma. En un proyecto acá en Bélgica, tuvimos un proyecto con una empresa de servicios públicos donde teníamos medidores de gas, de electricidad y algunos de calefacción por el tema en Europa por las estaciones. Actualmente hay otros proyectos en el norte de Europa donde hay medidores de calefacción, de electricidad y agua conectados simultáneamente. Uno de nuestros proyectos, también bandera, es el proyecto que tenemos en Medio Oriente, en Dubái, donde el proyecto hace referencia, tenemos medidores de agua conectados donde se hacen lecturas cada 15 minutos y con este proyecto, con estas lecturas casi en tiempo real, ¿no? De lecturas cada 15 minutos, se lograron reducir significativamente las pérdidas de agua debido a que filtraciones de agua que no se podían identificar rápidamente, ahora se pueden prevenir y atender rápidamente. Esto es importante porque en los países de Oriente Medio no tenemos, ellos desalinizan el agua, ¿no? Entonces el costo asociado es mucho más rápido. Dependiendo de los casos de uso, podríamos hablar más adelante de diferentes proyectos que hemos ejecutado.
Sí, muy bien, gracias, Jenny. La siguiente pregunta es, ¿cuánto es la cantidad máxima de medidores que se pueden conectar?
No hay una, digamos, el sistema, como lo mencionaba Reza, el sistema es altamente escalable y tiene un rendimiento alto. Se ha testeado con hasta 1 millón de mensajes recibidos por segundo. Y hasta 5 millones de medidores conectados con lecturas cada 15 minutos. Siempre cuando nosotros, la solución que nosotros ofrecemos es una solución que se ajusta y se customiza con las necesidades del cliente o de la empresa de servicios públicos y siempre se va a proveer la recomendación del hardware que se necesita para que el sistema tenga un performance adecuado. Por lo tanto, no hay un límite establecido, no hay un límite fijo.
Muy bien, Jenny, gracias. Bueno, y por último tenemos una última pregunta. Dice, ¿el Energy Radar se puede conectar con medidores no inteligentes?
Horst, this question goes to you. If we can connect the meter extension or the energy radar applications devices to non-smart meters?
No. The answer is very simple, no, because you need to have smart meters who are really collecting real-time data. The concept here is to use already the data which are in the smart meter.
Okay, thanks. La respuesta corta es no. Esto es debido a que realmente se necesita un medidor inteligente que provea la información en tiempo real y el meter extension de la solución de Energy Radar usa esa información que está recogiendo el smart meter, el medidor inteligente.
Muchas gracias, Jenny. Muchas gracias, Horst, Reza. Les agradecemos a todos por haber asistido y estar aquí conectados con nosotros. Siempre es un gusto poder hacer este tipo de enlaces para ustedes. Bueno, si desean recibir la presentación o tienen alguna consulta, pueden escribir al correo de smesa@procetradi.com o a marketing@procetradi.com. Asimismo, recordarles, para los que aún no nos siguen, que nos pueden encontrar en LinkedIn para que estén al tanto de las novedades y webinars que preparamos para ustedes. Además, también nos pueden seguir en Facebook. Nos encuentran como Procetradi. Para mayor consultas de la grabación o detalles de la solución, sí les vamos a pedir que nos escriban al correo que les hemos mencionado. Pero si desean ver grabaciones de nuestros webinars anteriormente realizados, pueden también encontrarlos en nuestro canal de YouTube. Ahí subimos todas nuestras conferencias. También los invitamos a visitar nuestra página web. Además de tener contenido de la industria para ustedes en nuestro blog Innovación, pueden escribir sus consultas o requerimientos haciendo clic en el botón de Contáctanos. Es muy sencillo y estamos siempre atentos para poder resolver sus consultas. Y bueno, muchas gracias a todos nuevamente. Ha sido un gusto tenerlos esta mañana con nosotros. Cuídense mucho y hasta pronto. Muchas gracias también a nuestros ponentes.